We're going to talk about a number of things today, and we certainly welcome people's calls about their personal injury cases if they have questions or if they might want to know if they have a case.
Absolutely.
The first thing we'll deal with today is something that's a very, very important. How to choose a lawyer is something people get wrong.
They do.
And they go about it in a weird sort of fashion. First of all, give me that example we were talking about earlier.
Okay, about 5 or 6 times a week, I'll get an email or a phone call where somebody says, I had a car accident 2 weeks ago. How much can you get me, and what are your fees?
And that's what they're basing their hiring practices on.
That's right. I'm assuming that they are phoning a whole bunch of people and asking the same question, or they're cutting and pasting the same email and sending it to a bunch of different lawyers.
That's not the way to hire a lawyer.
That is a mistake, because anybody who tells you, any lawyer who tells you how much they're going to get you based on, even after an initial interview, probably isn't a very experienced lawyer.
No,
right?
And they're not telling the truth.
Right. I mean, maybe they're hopeful, right? And,
sure.
But it's complicated to figure out how much you're going to get.
Because initially you have no idea, really.
Well, no idea, because you don't know how long the injuries are going to last. You don't know what the impact's going to be on work. You don't know what the impact's going to be on anything initially. Mm-hmm. So until you've reached sort of maximum medical recovery, no one can tell you what your case is about. But a lot of people are looking for a number when they're hiring a lawyer, and they think, I'm going to pick the lawyer who gives me the highest number. But, you know, at the hiring stage, nobody knows.
No.
No.
You have no idea.
No idea.
It's impossible to determine that. What should people do?
Well, there are a bunch of different factors you should look for when you're hiring a lawyer. One of them is experience. Mm-hmm. Another one is, do they focus on the area that I'm looking for?
You're looking for someone who's an expert in this case, personal injury.
Right, and you want a family law lawyer for your family case, you want a criminal defense lawyer for your criminal case. You know, most lawyers specialize, and maybe they specialize in 2 or 3 areas, and that's fine.
Sure.
But you actually want a lawyer who practices in the area that you need.
Like, for example, some lawyers deal strictly in real estate and,
that's right.
and that sort of thing, right?
That's right. And so
some are criminal lawyers.
Right. And so you don't want somebody who focuses on an outside area, maybe a family friend who's a lawyer, to say, you know what, sure, I'll handle your case for you. You know, a lot of people dabble. And I mean, it's in Ottawa, it's obvious, right? We have lots of lawyers with different specialties. But if you live outside Ottawa in a smaller town, maybe there's 3 or 4 lawyers only.
Right.
And maybe they have more general practices.
Sure.
You know, it may be worth the hour's drive or the telephone call to an Ottawa specialist.
Well, let's face it, you can talk to people and have meetings with people without leaving the comfort of your own home, no matter where you live. So
right.
Why would you limit yourself to, you know, a small number of choices?
Right.
When, you know, especially if they're not experts in the field.
Right. I mean, there's lots of excellent lawyers in small communities, but you want someone with experience in your area.
Yeah. How did you end up in personal injury then? What?
Interesting. I was on the other side for a while. You know, I was representing.
You were injured?
No, no. I was representing insurance companies.
Really?
Yeah, and just found myself thinking, this is the worst thing ever. I would like to be paying these people. I think these people's claims have merit, but that wasn't my job.
You were on the wrong side of that ledger.
I was on the wrong side, at least for my constitution.
Right.
So I had to change sides, and then there was no looking back.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
it's something you enjoy. It's something you obviously you know a lot about.
You make a big difference in people's lives almost immediately.
Yeah.
Just the fact that they have someone else dealing with the insurance company, the weight lifts.
Yeah.
And that's great. I mean, it's very, very rewarding.
Yeah, because that's part of the issue is that, you know, when you're just a regular person who ends up in a situation, what to do and how to go about it can be mesmerizing, intimidating. And
that's right, especially when you're supposed to be focusing on getting better. You know, a lot of people end up with a full-time job of rehab, going to physio and psychological and, you know, maybe 5 appointments a week. And then you've also got an adjuster calling, and you don't really trust what's going on. Maybe they're late with your payments. It's a lot of added stress that goes away when you hire a lawyer.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's not as stressful for you.
No, it's not personal.
No. Listen, by the way, a couple of little booklets that Brenda's put together that are available, right?
Yeah, these are the two books, The Injured Victim's Guide to Fair Compensation and Crash Course. They're both available free on our website, which is personalinjuryottawa.ca. And there's a form to fill out, and anybody, you know, we get about 15, 16 orders a week. They're free. Everybody's welcome to it.
I have copies of both in my desk at the ready.
That's good. Well, I hope you don't need it.